I don't know why I'm going on and off, but I was saying that it's my duty and your duty to remind one another to always mask up, social distance, because COVID, the pandemic is still here, and we've still got a lot to do. I want to think that most of you know me, so I really don't think whether it's necessary for me. But let me have the mask off, such that you can kundaba bulungi, kundaba bulungi, kundaba bulungi. Yeah. Let me have the mask on. So sorry for this, but yeah, let me have the mask on. So we are good to go. I can see Matilda has just joined us. I'm very certain that more people are coming to join us, and I'm eagerly waiting for them. But in the meantime, I can sip my Bugisu Arabica coffee. I don't know whether you people, now coffee is a privilege of the few. As we talk, Double A is trading at 17,000 Ugandan shillings. So coffee has become very, very expensive. I really don't see somebody out there, umuntu wawansi, drinking coffee, and yet our efforts have been directed at seeing that we promote the local consumption of coffee, Bugisu Arabica. The reason as to why I'm coming to you this evening is specifically to talk about our new program that we've begun on Twitter, the Rainbow Spaces. I'll be having quite a number of people on set there. Last Sunday, yesterday we did have a certain gentleman called Mr. Biz. We were talking about bee farming. Unfortunately, he did have issues with his network, but hopefully we should be in position to have him again. This Sunday, we are going to be talking about watermelon farming. I have one of the best guys on this continent. He's based in Kenya. So we will be bringing him on set on the Twitter Spaces to talk about watermelon farming. As you may all be in the know, during this dry season, people make lots of money from farming because they be doing irrigation, watering, and so we will be having him on set such that we talk about watermelon farming, what you need to do, what you need to know, and how you should know it. So we are going to be talking about that. Twitter Spaces. You should be inviting people, by the way, to check us out there. We also have a YouTube channel, Jeka Wasiche, John Kennedy Wasiche, yes, our YouTube channel, John Kennedy Wasiche. But we will, since Twitter does not allow video, the Twitter Spaces, we will basically be doing audio, but we'll also try to see how we can have some videos for you, video clips for you on especially YouTube. So you can go check out our YouTube channel and then like it. I can see somebody uluhulo morish namakoye Oliver luhunde bar nduhulo manshi ndihuka ukanangani honi lushi and miliyolo. But for the benefit of everybody, I think English is okay. I don't know, but we can always agree. Nenganya na mixinga mulushi enderu, na mixinga mulu Uganda, na mixinga plus other languages for the benefit of everybody. So, some time back I was talking with some gentleman called Sam Obete Ongom. Sam is an old friend of ours. People who keep watching our story, the Farm Gate story, are getting inspired. Like he was with about 5 people and they were talking about how they got inspired by seeing some of the things that we were doing at Farm Gates, especially here on Facebook, Twitter, and of course Instagram. And but again, there's some other gentleman who was discouraging me. He was so you see when you show people what you're doing. But you see, my argument has always been that perhaps that's the only way we can motivate some other people, that we can encourage them to begin also doing certain things. They may not be necessarily get into agriculture, but they may be inspired or motivated to start something which can turn out to be very big. So I really believe by telling people some of the things that we do, but they can get involved. I'm very happy for the numbers that are coming through. Namakoyali where is Farm Gates located, bro? Farm Gates is located in Ngenge. in Quen, Lower Quen. That's where we are located, because you see, those people still have a lot of farmland, virgin land, and it enables you to to it enables mechanization. So it is very good. I just checked my boyfriend to come here and watch you. Dudian Bay, thank you very much for coming through. Though I'm not certain about you checking your boyfriend. That isn't wise in this pandemic. I think that isn't wise. So I want to share with you my farming story. My farming story. Sometime in December, or I can still wait for those who are yet to check their boyfriend, to check them and they come through. So I have been told several times by a number of my friends to be doing these live videos. And actually, somebody was saying, "JK, are you shy? Are you shy? Why can't you come and talk to people about some of these things?" But you see, we've been busy. We've been trying to put up the structures at farm gates, the Surambaya, Kamama, the Tiger. Today we've been working on Tiger. We've been assembling it. It should be in position to do the run tests tomorrow. We are doing the run tests tomorrow for Tiger before we can take it to farm gates to ensure that it gives us the water. But allow me to share with you my story, my farming story. Around December 2019, I was on my phone doing some reads. Usually I do the reads at night. So I was reading about something that was going on in China. In Wuhan, some gentleman had written an article. Share the story. We are here watching live, Kuka. Thank you very much, Dr. Emerson Watts. Thank you, a very prolific dentist there. Thank you very much, Doctor. So in 2019, December, I was reading about what was coming through in China, because I had also just enrolled for my master's degree in diplomacy and international relations. So I usually get involved in what's happening, especially around the world, and how things are happening. Currently, there is a war in Congo, and I must say that as Ugandans, we must all come together and support the UPDF's tour of Congo, especially to flush out the ADF. That aside, getting back to the issue, in December 2019, I was reading about stories emanating from China, and there's a gentleman who had written a very, very beautiful story. I don't know whether I should call it beautiful or horrific story that really turned my life around. You know, they say that in every difficulty you must see the opportunity. Okay? President John F. Kennedy said that in times of calamity, there's a word he used though, but in times of difficulties, the Chinese use two strokes to write the word difficulty or something like that. One stroke stands for danger, another one for opportunity. So in bad times, you must be in position to see the opportunity. Actually, that's the entire essence of that quote. So as I was reading this article, I realized that actually there could be an opportunity, because the gentleman went on to talk about the pandemic, that in the event that airports are not closed, in the event that things go as they were, the world is going to close down. We are going to find dead bodies on the streets, and the world is going to close, basically. That is what that writer was trying to talk about. He said, everything is going to come to a standstill. Economies are going to collapse. People are going to lose jobs. People are going to die. You get. So as he was concluding, towards his conclusion, he did mention about the sectors of the economy that are going to be heavily hit by the pandemic. He talks about them, but also he did talk about those sectors those departments that are going to stand, that are going to live even with this pandemic, during and after the pandemic. One of them was pharmaceutical, another one was agriculture. So he said that people are advised to eat things that boost their immunity. Things like onions. Actually, we did start with onions. Farm gets started with onions. Then, of course, citrus. I know of some gentleman who went to Karamoja to buy inim, lemon. They were giving him a basin of about 3,000, 2,000, a full basin. When he reached Kampala, he was selling one neem, one lemon at 1,000. The fellow made money, even switched off his phones. Share faster Bentley, government no. While blood, you're very articulate in analyzing issues. Donny Gwen Malimba, my brother there, I'm live with Umushiende. There we go. Thank you very much for joining through, for coming through. Mwanya Navi. Who are on here. I'm talking about my farming story, of course. But I also did tell you that every Sunday we'll be having a guest on the Twitter Spaces there, about Cheniso Mundu, to talk about ibindu binyala byayita babandu who are motivating and who ramu butambi. So this coming Sunday we are going to be talking about watermelon. We are going to be talking about watermelon farming. So Abenshi Baboli and the gentleman talks about the sectors of the economy that are not going to collapse. One of them was agriculture. So that was 2019 December. As people were like around this time, but I think it must have been around 19th December when I got to see that article. So as people were busy preparing, you know, the Christmas market usually opens Kuminatan. That's when people begin to buy tihafu, the cows that they're going to slaughter, the goats. Then, of course, the clothes for the children, usually around 15th, that's when the Christmas market opens. That's when people now start to get serious with issues to do with Christmas. Ivan Hollywood, live from Bududa Hills, Pearl of Uganda. Thank you very much, Ivan. So 15th, that's when people get serious with shopping for Christmas. But around 19th, that's when I got to read that piece of that gentleman. He had really articulated it so well. So I said, okay. So onions. So what planning? On first, I went to Bumbo. We hired land in Bumbo. Bumbo is one of the places in Uganda where land is hired very expensively. An acre goes for 600,000. Ibukoho. So I went to Bukoho. Unatana pangisa liso, 1 acre of land. I bought seeds. I bought jamba. I bought red coach. Red coach was a first try. The germination rate was so good for red coach. We did manage the nursery bed so well. You know, farming, especially of vegetables, the nursery bed, the management of the nursery bed is so critical and very, very important because you need to water in the morning and in the evening. So we hired land. We did the beds on 1st of February 2020. 1st February 2020. Butungulu bwamala bedi 1 full month. The germination rate was so okay. So I asked the guy because I didn't have much information. So I had done, of course, some research about onions, how they grow, the spraying, what not ABCD. But I forgot one critical thing. One critical thing. If you're going to go into farming, real serious farming, I'll tell you from the bottom of my heart and the whole of it, you need water. The magic is water. The game changer is water. This other business is background noise, I'll tell you honestly speaking. The rest is background noise kabisa. You need water. Now, that is something that I forgot. I was Sicha of Bushiende with the people I met in Bukoho. Time for transplanting comes. They said, no, was ha no if later hope. If later hope. So we transplant the onions. Kumuteji. What transplanting onions kumutiji, mister, if fly up after 4 days. Yet onions, when you transplant them, you either water them or you pray hard that it rains. Bukana kamets. So we lost from the start of the transplanting. Yalolo marana aromo shendulia ni babandu ihukana na abikuka. May God unleash you abundantly. I am live from Botswana, Gaborone City. Thank you very much to Yovan. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, you can also invite your other friends to join us. Who can have in Dubibi? Hungaya kem, ishkata hungaya kam, such that we get to motivate other people out there. I know some other people like Dr. Watts there. I'll be hosting you. Is the dentist, like I did tell you. We must be in position. Manyira bandu walwe bintu bese bayira joking lenga ibintu bye who kameno kaka. So when we get to, we shall have that moment on the Twitter Spaces and host doctor, and we talk about kameno. Of course, that is health, things to do with health. So, what transplanting about tunguru, Mister? If fly up after 4 days, putunguru ngabufura bukali bwafire. But we managed to look after the ones that survived. The rains eventually came through, but remember we had already lost. So ngambao shekamanyi na bishe sonyala kwa hola who making sure who saving butunguru. So the timing was very good, and the other gentleman's article was also spot on. A kilo went for nuska sanvu. So you got about 200 kilos. At nuska sanvu, the hand say calculator manine masuwe humbale sesi yo was not also easy. Kasanvu taimuzi kilo bibiri teso kwafuna. Million ndu yade nchimitwala ana. So assuming that butunguru bobo transplanting iraho kamets, I would be very wealthy. I would have made money because you see the timing was so fine. But somehow need the most critical thing. That is why when I'm talking about issues of water, who farm gates, I'm very serious. When I'm talking about Kamama, I am so passionate about it. When I'm talking about Surambaya, I'm so passionate about it. When I'm talking about Tiger, I'm so passionate about it because I mean, if I had transplanted the onions, Nikamets, the story would be different by now. It would be completely different and so. So, butunguru bohabula bidira bulai, and we got what we got. I'm glad. Actually, I was telling people that I haven't made any loss. First and foremost, it was not really my first try because I've ever done 10 acres of matoke in Bukomere Chibogayojo. But I mean, I had come through again. Then now, but still the timing was not right. Of course, there were things that we hadn't done right. But this time around, there was a very huge opportunity to make money. There is money in farming. There is a lot of money. Because when Gawatsi the Hodoleda, I'll give you an example of the Bateso. The Bateso, for them, everybody needs half. When you go down deep in Teso, you find an old woman blowing English, very good English. Most of those Bateso, either they go to TGS, plus TSS, then Aloit, Washibone, Basoma. So, and of course, the impact of war, they made lots of losses there. They lost most of their cattle, but the restocking must be going on. And I am so sure that when they eventually get back to their feet, they will be in position to move. Even as batches, the economy is backed by the Bugisu Arabica coffee. As we talk now, mbao mutabuta kunywa coffee ta. As we talk now, mbao mutambi, let me put it in Lushiend. Mbao mutambuta kunywe mwanyita. Because the kilo is at 17,000, that's green. Kumtuala mtuera ni nusu kasamvu, green coffee. Wawuli, yes barusireho husk. So are reprocessing it, ikilenyala yawere kilo process now is going to go between 80 to 100,000. Ari mundu ebushenda anyalanya he mwanyi yota abale bazo sende huwa wolera busaka mazima. So washibone. So we the Bagisu are also a very wealthy people. So wealthy, I will tell you. If you didn't know it from today. Wabone mwanyi yosa watitsa bandu bali ni mwanyi. Sutabusa buchehe muhavera hamali. Wasabusa mwanyi buchehe buri. And waira wawe komba, waira mo BCU, waira wachagalanya, and you get money, a lot of crazy money now. So Fefe BCU, Bugisu Cooperative Union, of course, it's one of the richest entities in this country with a lot of property in the UK, in Mombasa, even in Mbale here. Mbao government here Uganda for a BCU properties it. So bulimu kama pesa nashikana timing aro abona abandu bahala chimwanyi so asinde asege haye baambire murre. But if they had not cut down the coffee, by now they would be swimming in money, and the trend is not going to change for the next 2-3 years. Where Brazil and South America, they were hit by frost and whatnot. The weather was not good, so by losing their plantations. So imani rajimia hajibiri huchitaru to hukira muhutso. So people are going to eat money for the next 2-3 years. People are going to be enjoying money. So bulimu kama pesa ne wahola. First things first, what I mean abula arisa wati season is holimu ye yanga na you who is watching me, who is listening in, wherever you are, the people in Botswana, the people in Dubai, I can see Kasim Wabobi is live from Dubai. Thank you very much. Wabomba Gilbert, thank you for joining. Ali Hulomar, thanks for your information. Kuko Mshiende Washase, thank you very much. Kasim Wabobi, your Kablaza is also watching. Thank you very much, Kasim, for coming on. And everybody, thank you very much, Manyanabi. Those of you who've just joined us. Seniors, Barangwa John Kem, she and Wabi Babandu. Then Makoye Olive is saying that farming is all about patience. I agree with you entirely. I agree with you. But apart from patience, it is also hard work. You must really have money. I wouldn't want to tell you that go into farming when you don't have money. No. You'll burn your fingers. But I'm not saying that you need a lot of money. No. You need, depending on what you're going to grow. For example, booming so weight anso 50 grams is about 85,000. 850,000. Booming so butungulu onions, Jamba F1 is at about the same price. I think between 800 to 850. So that is a lot of money. But if you only did walmori hubyala sukuma wiki abantu ngabatahwama ngakutahu tani ngakuingire kumwa hakumushaha as we enter the new year 2022. People are going to be done with eating Christmas meat. You get. So if you put up things like liboshi, things like spinach, sukuma wiki, because for example in Ngenge, as we talk now, one leaf of sukuma wiki is at 200 shilling. One leaf. Arina nisho shinya chato wera dala shale ira dala. Utorusaho busa leaf. So the timing is now, but you see, it takes a lot of hard work. Asa abantu bali huweza sitting za Christmas, abantu batakulya katsinya ma mundu mubole bye hutse ndimiro baratawuhirira kametse. Sometimes people may not look at that as something which is something viable. So ngahwamalire bumbo, we went to a place called Atari. Atari now bumbo yo barambisa buhafu hulima. Bumbo, it is cows, silima. But now in Atari, because the land is flat, Atari that is lower Bulambuli. Kwen Ngenge neighbors Atari. Basebeyo. So we go and clear land in Atari and transfer farm gets to, not really transfer, but we have another branch of Farmgates in Atari. So what's Atari? We cleared land, we planted onions, wafuna butungulu. But again, this time round, the management was very poor. Basi abantu have fertilizer mungi. So nitrogen aba mungi. Aringa shitungurusho, nga shirimu iroba, it is very okay. But the moment you pluck it out, you pull it out, washire how shitandi hahubola because of the nitrogen. So we've been learning. It's been a learning curve. We've been learning lessons, and very expensive lessons, I'll tell you. Very, very expensive lessons. But I feel so honored and very happy when I hear that there are people who've been inspired by our story at Farmgates and more are joining in. I feel really, really honored. I'm a huge fan of technology. I'm a huge fan of technology, and me when I see that there is something that can improve Farmgates, because we want to mechanize the farm, I invest money. Because you see, I still believe that it is cheaper to make losses now than later in life. So wherever you are, just know that it is cheaper to make losses now than later in life. You really don't need a special time to start now. You don't need a script to start now. Just start now, right now, where you are right now. Just start. Then when you start, even in the beneath, you keep improving on the farm. Keep improving on the farm. Even beneath. So we go to Atari, and of course we made those losses, but we had planned to put up, after getting the money from the onions, we had planned to put up 5 acres of tomatoes in December. And indeed, though we didn't do 5 acres, but we did 1 acre, but in phases. Half an acre, kwanyo kwa byala hoyo. Zinyanya tokwafuna kama pesa kwakula ebyuma bya Shanji Nyota Waraji. We are going to begin packing. You know me, I'm deeply into value addition. So utatandea hu packinga Shanji Nyota Waraji. There was a lot of money. So, but basically the bottom line is that you must time. Timing is very key. Watu wama alihula mari, keep going, bro. All of you have joined us. Please, thank you very, very much for joining us. So timing, ari niye season nisi bahoda mkampesa sawa titi nyanya rahubed. Wa uliye because aritakorera sama floating anabi. Aritakorera. So hulima, people have been asking, Honorable Korera Waina JK, where are you? You've disappeared from the grid and one on the. But what have I been doing at the grid? I've done 12 years. I did 12 years on radio. I am popular. People know me. That sometimes I don't even need to introduce myself. You get. So I have done that part. Arnamali. That is how I see. Iye huweta kukolera kalambo. Like how somebody was putting it. Kukolera kalambo. Kalambo hase gabaile bushende mungani bushende to lay beside my father. But John ka hola ushida abantu batsamuta mshalo yohuse khabantu batabula mshalo yana like musani ngana bamtawuni akhombe khani mshaletso washibone. So but you see, you shouldn't be put under pressure by society, by growing up. No, absolutely no. Tawe. First look at what you can do. I was telling somebody that, look, why are you rushing to build a home? You're running to Bushiende to build a home in Bushiende. So what would be the incense of building a home in Bushiende? You sleep in Kampala. No, what you would do, you'd buy a plot around Kampala or anywhere in Uganda and build a guest house. Guest house is all kama pesa. So I was telling him, and he's so sensing it. As we talk now, on a daily he has at least rooms munana tsibamu babantu. Washibone. So I hate Ali hates all he did go on with finishing it. But now he gets the money from the guest house. Wow, mbeha hombo lambola. So we should be thinking in that direction. That's the direction we should be thinking, that we should be taking if we are to emerge. Recently, I was in Atari. Sometime last year, there was a gentleman, Nisbalanga Wamanga. Wamanga Ombe Hetsuye, one of the most beautiful houses. Actually, I think it's the only beautiful house in Atari. There's a trading center as you go to Ngenge Namaru called Atari. Atari, Wamanga Nyoli Honi Twindai, the most beautiful house and the only beautiful house in the trading centers for Wamanga. Now, Wamanga, I could have cement watoka. Building that side is very expensive. The soils are very poor. Kama tafali baka amisevu walasi, kumiheba kwa amise karamoja. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm trying to say, but the young man has put up a very nice house. But the community there, the guy is an Illuminati. Agenda munyanja, jajecente. And of course, he kept quiet. As they were talking, he was continuing to do his work. He went about his work. And so, Anoma, sometime last year, Anoma Jeke, now he considered Ngani Kura went to Yindi who can wait over MC was Namloma, you're my brother, what can I do? So he calls me 2 weeks too, that who I embark Kumuholo I am going to party, house party. So what? We went there, we reached, he organized, he had slaughtered a full cow for people, he cooked about 3 bags of rice, he had mineral water, he had soda for a village party, my friend. So it was a huge party, I will tell you honestly, from the bottom of my heart. And I was the MC. Now, the most interesting part of that Mokolo is this. Wamanga goes on to talk about himself and how he started. Like to dispel the man went is an Illuminati. He went munya. By the abantu bakola kabapesa abandi baba hukoma abantu. When other people are working, others are abusing, others are bali hukolima. So the man uses that very opportunity because they had gathered, many had come, though others hadn't come. Ganobone things in the village there. How others pick fights from nowhere. But those who came, they did come, and he used that opportunity to talk to them. So he called his friends. He said, I want to call 3 people. These 3 people helped me, but they also don't know that they actually helped me. One whom I remember vividly is Juma. Then there's another one, James. Aimba Mukwaya, one of Aimba Church in the choir, is a choir member, I think, in the Catholic Church there in Atari. Then another one wasn't there. Alomar is going to have a chair there to represent that other friend. So he got his money from 3 friends. Not that he really got money, no. He goes on to explain. Wamanga goes on to explain. Says, you see, what you see today of me is because of these 3 people. Now, he went on to break down the story of how he made money and to build that beautiful home or house in Atari, in the village there. Alomari, Abali Machukuyu, he was doing yams. I don't know whether you know that yams have a lot of money. In Kenya here, they are sold in kilos. Yams, bitoroto, they're sold in kilos. So that young guy, he was in the swamp. Galima bitoroto. But in that process, there is a gentleman, the one who is a choir member in the Catholic Church, who had a small shop, plus a table. So he used to measure this sugar in grams. Small for people. People in the village, let me tell you, people in the village are the most wealthiest people. Those are people that are biggest customers of Mukwano, Madivan, and Meta. Murwana, those industrialists. Why? Because for them, they go to the shop every day. They go to the shop to buy sugar on a daily, to buy cooking oil on a daily. So ate somusiyayo amureba Mr. Ndiukana ukola business ngeyo woyi niwamba sori capital asiringitsenga amulomari chimitwalo 25 kwa 3 around 250 to 300. That was his capital. Says, oh, okay. So he goes on to farm his mayoni and he got 300,000. So when he gets his 300,000, he comes to Mbale to do the shopping. He also starts a car shop. So he's explaining. Now, that is how his big shop in Atari comes about. It was brought about by the other friend, who is a choir member in the Catholic Church. Arijo ata ndiha alomari arindi nitiha futase titaru. I have my 3 cows that I milk on a daily. So the one of the shop, he milks it. He got the idea from that gentleman. Then there is another gentleman who came to him and told him, you know, Wamanga, I'm selling off my business. I'm going to Kenya. He had a solar panel. He was charging, he had a saloon, I think, and charging some phones. So he sold the solar panel to Wamanga. He sold the business to Wamanga. And he told him, but you can stay here. He said, no, I cannot stay here. Yet my main business is the other side. I'm going to transfer everything to the other side. So Wamanga goes about to transfer, to bring the solar panels and the battery to where he is, and he starts to charge phones. People move distances to go to Wamanga, to take to Wamanga their phones. And he says, from only phones on a daily, he gets 50,000. It's a lot of money. I'm talking about 50,000 Ugandan shilling. That's what Wamanga gets from charging. Busimu. Actually, even me, one time I took him an extension. I bought him an extension. I reached there, I wanted to charge, and all the ports were full. So I'm like, hey, shitegeza abantu bacharging nabi. Ari, namramandi in Kampala I saw extension hali I can bring for you. Now me jokingly, I went and bought for him. He wanted to pay me my number. No, Amanga, only one dias. Don't worry. Kumbe the man gets 50,000 every day. Ye hafia habidi. That's the second cow. He milks every day. Minus the shop. He also milks the shop. Now, the third one, who is Juma, comes to Wamanga. Tells Wamanga, do you realize, you see, there are people who are good at studying situations. Tells him, Wamanga, do you realize that the whole of this place, there's no mobile money? And let's start mobile money. So they come to Mbale, it's Mbale, town. Walikawanza, walikaregister, Wamanga likawanza business ya mobile money. So business ya mobile money bakuwa commission, buli who transaction is ukola. So Wamanga was getting about 100,000 from mobile money every day. Because people could come, it was only mobile money around and the surrounding areas. He was the only giant there. So Wamanga goes on to tell people that now, those are my 3 cows. And that is how I have been milking them and managed to build that house. You know, everybody looked at Wamanga, couldn't believe. But of course, he had gotten an opportunity to explain to the people how he managed to manufacture, to milk wealth. You understand? So we must look at different sources of income, streams of money coming through. You know, when you have various streams of money coming through. Right now, if your only job was, for example, like Wanda say, Wabomba Gilbert or Hezroni, was to Musomesa, Arkamasomero for the last 2 years, Kaikala. So if you don't have anything else that you have been doing as a teacher, karate bayawere baba kupile karate. So ari karateva yawere mwashimone. But if you have various sources of income, I think this pandemic, whereas it has humbled us, but also it has given us very huge lessons going forward. We should be in position to look at things without excitement, to look at the future without necessarily being excited. You know, people have not been working, so I want to think that abantu bafunire embukemala to think and to think better, not just thinking far, but to think better. Nga nimire obwero C5 chairman this time around, because ours was an idea of how we can motivate, inspire, and transform our people. Abantu batsa, but people didn't know. Actually, all throughout that campaign, nobody ever asked me what. Unlike the 2016 general election, Ganimire MP, municipality, where I actually got most of these ideas, because from that campaign I was a beneficiary. Nesnafuna ideas, idea na tuyamusi aba amakuli embitsi abe huimire wa Matthias na butere ukofi. That day I vividly remember Museveni was in Bududa. Sabe tsiri. Asiaba nkazire arijo kota kolera bana bagisuba no genda kuba kolera cha bagisuba no sana aba amakuli embitsi waumani ni kamarwa. And Alvaro Marinywe, Matansa John Keta, for us Bagisu are so rich. And I'll stress this to you guys. We, the Bamasava, we are a wealthy people. We just don't know that we are wealthy because of our pride, our arrogancy, and but we are a very wealthy people. With our coffee, so the man, Aloma, at and their hookanich. Yeah, your rimine calculator nabona kama pesa. Nabona kama pesa. So this is how the Mukwanos make money. Because you see, Mukwano, Wangatsa, the remotest village in Uganda, you'll find there Kamajani ka Mukwano. The remotest village in Uganda. Moruhuntegera. And people go to buy tea leaves every day. Unyala wanywa kamajani ngamba musukali ta. Ya no munda ahwe kasawasi ahuloma runyala wanywa sukali yenyine ngamba that color called that black color either of coffee or kamajani ta. Ape vitata. So the man packs kamajani of 100 shilling. 100 shilling. Actually, that's such a wholesale is at about 83 shilling wholesale. But he's been consistent with it that for all these years we've been taking tea leaves from Rwenzori Commodities or Eagle. Mukwano Tea, Eagle Holdings, I think. It must be Eagle Holdings, I think. For all these years. So what I'm telling you is that wabono bundu buchehebu bubwesi bapima mu buchehebu. Bubaho kama pes. Washibone. So we started packing coffee time, Bugisu Arabica. But of course we are still looking for money to have machinery. Kubarire munywe mwanyi. Nenge takubeye bei mbomawuli ya dididi. But you can find our coffee in BAM Shopping Center and Abra Supermarket. Our coffee is there. Right now, 100 grams is going for 5,000. But of course, our target is to take the coffee. Isma Yibshiende, Isi Wahezro, Noli Shkoye, ni babandu befe mushalo bevududa yo bali memwanyi batande huchinywa, but of course packed in smaller quantities that are affordable. So that is the main goal. And I have tried to talk to my friends to procure this equipment, but they don't understand the entire. It's a good idea, but no one brings through the money. So sometimes you can have your good idea, but friends are not ready to support you. They don't see sense, I don't know whether sense or what, or ibategira, but you see, these are things that you don't even need to go to school to know that actually you can. Nyaraba oni ku machine ko nga buli saketisi kupa kupanga okuma ku printing kama pesa. People but it is also good because you see sometimes when you're strolling down this path alone, you get to know where the curves are, and maybe you have issues, those issues of coming together, or scenario rashi, his wealth is built, we would still be shiende musharali kunywe njoronjo itahaseta. So maybe that is also something very, very good. You know, sometimes certain things happen because they have to happen, or because God abiholar bina happening. Washibone. So against that backdrop, ladies and gentlemen, we've decided, we've carved out our future. Arsatse kuli balimi abandi abajoneke uli wandi umulimi ate uli serious kabisa, umulimi uli serious kabisa nga nambaka kachao kama zima, and very serious, because you see, as I do these things, unyarapo lero mundu rutse kulimenga amwene nawe etaleri hukulya nari custom nabo nanga nasana amire, maybe perhaps people will be inspired and motivated to join. Manyata nabolera, I was actually, I think, discussing with Gilbert some time back. And you see, abantu befe bali mishire kerezi, abandu banano barari yu mwene nayo mutambi uzaulomoro mutambi uriena shilinganga umundu hulomara asaba bugaga nga niyembale yayinuka walomorari mister utahundu so riena mubutambi nga nayo wamwene embale yayinuka washibone. So kuluha kahutunga nafe embale yefe irobe hubaho chimyanya mingi ta. You never know, others can also pick a leaf from there. But I'm also glad that the number of young people who've picking leaf here and there from some of the things that we keep on posting here, though others think that it's not good. Mundu abalumbola ari wali abantu baba nitsimo nitsimbi, true, but again banga banitsimo nitsimbi sisese. But you never know, someone else can pick an idea from me while succeeding, and that is very good also. We would have played our part, especially in awakening the lion or the tigress or the tiger in him or the tigress in her. So that's our journey so far. Wachendele huryo ila hushichenda, and we are still going strong. No matter the losses we are going to make in this farming journey, we will not stop. We will continue to go on. Because you and me will appreciate the fact that people eat on a daily. Yes, people eat on a daily. Arasawa zinyanza halira abantu batimire basomesa bagiri bati basomesa baita huli batiyaji batimire bali huli na Museveni ikule kama somero washibone. So they are going to go back to their professions, but we're busy with other things as we concentrate more on making sure that farm gets a better place, and we are producing things and adding value to some of the things that we are producing. So Nganahuba Sima, thank you very much. Doctor, we should have time on Twitter. We do a Twitter space hukanihe on how abantu befe banyala baba ni kameno kamalai teeth kamalai. People don't, I think I am also a victim. I have ever gone to a dentist, I think twice. Once, Ukwanyowa, the first time was my mother took me to Mulago Hospital. I had an issue. I was young, I'm lift, and I had a very terrible experience with who did I lift Mulago. That was back in the 90s, before some people here were born. Then the next time, I found an old boy of mine, says Tobin, and Tobin has some of the state-of-the-art equipment for for kameno nebagawagala nebagawagala yes, but it is very rare to find an ordinary mushende kwame mushende varalikuta to a dentist kubona kameno. So those are things that we should interest our people, doctor, such that bamanya the importance of going to see a dentist, and of course the general importance of going for general medical checkups before one falls sick. So those are things that we